G'day, I'm Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, and I don't usually, in fact I've never done one of these big display, look what I can harvest from our garden type videos. But today I thought, you know, it's a change of season here. We've just come into spring, and I thought you guys might be interested in what a man might be able to harvest from a garden such as ours. Let's get into it. So firstly, I've also got my back to the wind. I would have liked to have had this the other way around so that you could see the garden behind me as well. But because of the wind coming this way and also the sun better on this side, I thought I'd have you just looking straight at me and the table. The other thing is, I don't want to gloat, but this isn't all that I could have harvested either. There are plenty more other crops still coming on from our winter's growth. They'll keep on being harvested all the way into summer throughout our spring. But this is a good enough selection, I think, to give you a fair idea that you can do pretty well out of a garden. We grow to our strength, and our strength is citrus trees. They grow really easy here, and I will be showing quite a bit of citrus. So let's talk about citrus from the beginning. Probably start with here, the Marsh Grapefruit. This tree over there, it's been growing for many years now on our property, and it's a beautiful tasting grapefruit. Let me just cut him on. Oh, it's a delightful fruit. Very sweet for a grapefruit. Oh, it's just beautiful. It's really beautiful juiced as well. The tree is prolific. It'll grow not very high, but by jingoes, the fruit, there's hundreds of them every season, never gives up. We've got a pineapple on this side. I'm not going to cut this fella on. We have pineapples scattered all over the place. The good thing about pineapples, you just cut the top off, plant them in the ground. In most climates, you'll get a pineapple again in a couple of years. One of the best things about them is they can grow in part shade or full sun. They're drought tolerant, so they don't need a lot of water. They're very, very easy to grow in all sorts of conditions. Round the table here, you can see Starfruit. They're another beauty. I love these. Well, the boys just pull them off the tree and eat them because they're refreshing, and they are very refreshing. What I love about them is not just the taste, which is very sweet, especially if you leave them ripen up. The main thing I like about these Starfruit is that when you cook with them, they're quite mild. You can add other things with them. They have a whole lot of pectin in the juice of these things. So you don't need to add pectin. It turns anything into a jelly. So they make a really good, like chili jam. You don't have to add a whole lot of sugar. You just add your chopped chilies and you boil them down, and it'll turn into a really nice solid jelly simply because of this fruit. At the back here is one of my favourite mandarins. It's a honey murcot. They're not great for trying to peel, but they are probably the best tasting mandarin you can get. Let's cut this straight down the middle and I'll show you the insides of it. There we go. Look at that, look how red it is. It is sweet as honey. And it's like a mango. At the back here, beautiful Tahitian limes. Have you ever seen as big a lime as that? Fantastic. All of our citrus are now going to flower. The thing is, these might be just at the end, and they're so beautiful. Really sour and tart, but there's a new crop coming through, so in another month or so we'll have new smaller limes to harvest again. Sometimes there's never even a month when we haven't got a lime. On top here, dragon fruit. This is the yellow dragon fruit variety. Getting still a bit long in the tooth, but I held on to them. The other types of dragon fruit, like the red ones, are over now, but these hang on the vine a lot longer, but they have spines on them, which can be a little bit daunting for some people, but the spines are easily removed. You just brush them off. There we go. Isn't that lovely? And this is one of the sweetest dragon fruits to eat as well. One of the best tasting. They're not the biggest. Yes, they have spines, but they're one of the best tasting. Moving along to the left here, this whopping big orange here is a Lane's Late Navel. The good thing about the Lane's Late is, by the name, it ripens later, so you've got this sequence of oranges. The Washington's ripening first, Lane's Late, and then you have the Valencia's last. Oh. Nothing better than a fresh orange off the tree. Next to the lanes late is this massive pomelo. This is a pink variety. Should have a pink flesh on the inside. It's of course the biggest citrus in the world, and one of the first or original types of citrus that they crossbred to make grapefruit and all that. Oh, a tinge of pink. And I've done a video on the pomelo, but they're not great to eat and chew through. The flesh is quite stringy, but they are really nice to juice. So I definitely recommend growing the tree. Beautiful big citrus flower. The citrus smell at the moment around the orchard, and the whole property is just wonderful. And when you're walking around, it's like snow on the ground after all the white petals have fallen off and the bees are everywhere. It really is a beautiful time of year to be walking around the property. Coming across here is the end of our peas. I don't need the knife for that. Yeah, we've had a great season of peas. There's nothing better than, you know, peas straight from the garden. Pardon me. We grew dwarf. I just left them flop over. Wonderful. Getting too hot now for peas, but keep some for seed for next season and maybe preserve some of the other ones. Along the front here, you might have noticed I got some marigolds. I thought I might as well pick some of them because the cockatoos are getting into them. They're little buggers, those cockatoos. They come into the garden and they spy a beautiful flower and they just snip the top off them for the heck of it, and then they just bugger off. So I thought, why not pick some marigolds for effect? We grow them in the garden to attract good insects, not cockatoos. Also, the roots repel nematodes or eelworms, the bad ones that can be in the soil that can affect the roots of vegetables and plants like tomatoes. So all round, marigolds are good apart from the cockatoos. Here's some of our kale. It's great to eat, it's great to preserve, dry or freeze dry, make kale chips, but it's also a very long-lived crop and it goes right into our summer. I'll work back now to the front here, where you can see we've got a bit of a berry collection, including these tomatoes, which you could call berry tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. Of course, most people call them that, but I put them in with the berries because they kind of are, aren't they? We've had intermittent growth with the strawberries this year. It's been good. They haven't been huge, which isn't a big problem. Don't care too much about huge strawberries. I like good tasting strawberries. And you won't get sweeter than your own home picked strawberry. Speaking of sweet, our mulberries, been a really good season again. You got to fight the birds for them. We've got 3 mulberry trees, a white one and 2 of the black ones. When you grow a whole heap of them, well then you've always got a chance. The birds just can't possibly eat them all. Multicolored radishes, I just love these things. Just chop them up, stir fry them really quickly in some butter. They're lovely. Extra peppery heat to food, but not chili heat. Of course, you know I'd had to include a pumpkin or two because we grew so many of them this year and we're still trying to chew through them. To be honest, we're so pumpkined out, we've had a bit of enough of them. But I'm sure once the season's dead and gone and we haven't had pumpkin for a while, we'll want to have some more. Just behind the pumpkin here, I threw in a little bit of dill. We're growing cucumbers at the moment, trying to get a crop in before summer. This is a good time of year where cucumbers can thrive, but they don't like it too cold and they don't like it too hot. They're a Goldilocks type of fruitable, vegetable fruit, and dill grows at the same time. And of course, dill and cucumbers go hand in hand when you're pickling them. That's why I'm growing them very closely together. In front of the dill and the kale, we've got this Romanesco. Oh, I just dropped a Pom Pom. Hey, remember the Pom Poms? They were a real rage back in the 80s, Pom Poms. This one here has grown really odd. It's still edible and nice, but it's not that really tight head. And it's not a flowering, it's not opening up. It's just that it's gone a little bit odd. And look at this Pom Pom. Next to the Romanesco is this beautiful purple cauliflower. I just done a video on this, so I won't ramble on too much about it, but there's another big head for you. And then going back are some of our lemons. This is a Meyer lemon. Oh look, I don't think I'll cut it on, but Meyer lemons are just beautiful. I'll cut it on when we have some fish and chips or something, but I'm not going to cut it on now. You know what a lemon looks like inside, but believe me, it's as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. Plus, when I was picking them, I found a little froggy. Oh, I love those little green frogs, they're so cute. Next to the lemons I just thought I'd throw in this corn here. It's an Aztec corn. Honestly, it's been just sitting out in the garden with its mate here, still wrapped up. But I was wondering, would it just sprout if I just left it there? And it hasn't. Next to the corn, I picked, and it's looking a little sad now because, you know, in the sun they peter out pretty quickly, these sort of salad crops. This is actually baby beets, and I'm just thinning out the crops of baby beets so that it gives them more space. I oversowed, but then you thin out and you use these as baby beets for the table, of course, in salads or stir-fried. If they're looking a bit sad and they're not as crunchy, we'll stir-fry these up. Right on the left-hand edge here, this is a ruby red grapefruit. You can see the tinge there, a tinge of red. Let's cut him on and see what it's like in the middle. Not bad. Not bad, a little bit of a tinge there. I would say it's as mild or even milder than the Marsh, which I really love. Both of these are excellent tasting. In front of these ruby grapefruit are becoming one of my favourite tomatoes. This is the Gladiator, named after Russell Crowe. No, not really. Named after Russell Crowe's brother. No, named after the Roma tomato, because it's a big, massive Roma. It's really meaty, very sweet, likes quite a bit of salt to bring it up kind of thing, but best for sauces. But I have been using them on toasties. I just love eating them on toast and just cut and fresh in salads. So not necessarily just for cooking. I will cut this on because we'll eat it tonight for dinner. But I've just got to show you how meaty it is in the middle. Look at that. Well, I'll tell you what, this wind is really messing up my hair. Last but not least is the Valencia Orange. Now, I wasn't going to pick these because these actually hold on the tree really well, even in a wind like this. I thought, you know what, I just want to because it's my favourite orange, not because of the name, but because it holds on the tree the longest out of all the oranges, and I've said that so many times on my channel, must be making people who watch me all the time sick. It's not the best to eat straight like that. Still beautiful though, but it's a wonderful juice because it has that refreshing tartness about it. It's not overly sweet, but these are just beautiful, and it's the last thing. So I hope you enjoyed this display video, the change of season from winter coming into spring. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, share the video around because that helps my channel out heaps, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Cheers.